We typically ask, how are you guys doing? How are we doing as the federal government? If you guys have any tips or anything that throughout the process that you noted that you wanted to share with us, and anything that we can be doing to be helpful to you, and as well as USDA and NeighborGood Partners.
Okay. Well, the process itself is a good process.
Before we do that, let me just say, ladies, do you have rules at school?
Yes. Yes.
Do you have rules? Do you ride a school bus?
No.
No. Do you have rules at home?
Yes. Yes.
We have rules for our country.
Yes.
Do you know what the name of our country is?
The wonderful state of America.
Oh,
Country.
that's right, we have rules for our country.
Yes.
And I get to help make the rules for the country, along with 99 other senators from all over the country, and the president, Joe Biden, who's from Delaware. And one of the things that I have sought to do for years is to make sure that families can buy a home of their own, and have like you guys have done, and have instead of paying rent all the time, you will save that money so that you guys can someday go to college. And that's what I do. I think we wanted to make families strong, and one of the ways to make them strong is make sure they have a good place to live and something they can afford to pay for. So with that,
Man,
please.
that was it in a nutshell. Home ownership. I mean, been on the list for a while. The process, as I said, is a good process. It has its twists and turns,
Right.
but I would advise anyone, one, to go through the process, and two, don't give up on the process. Timetables change, things happen, things beyond your control happen,
Right.
but if you stick with it, it will clearly work out for you.
How did this happen? Just kind of tell us a story. How did this happen?
Some friends of mine, some family friends of mine, had gone through the service NCALL, and they told me that they were able to purchase a home. So, first keynote was NCALL. Okay, let's check them out. Took a few years before I got up the gumption to check them out. And in the interim, said let's do some research on. I'm from the ag background. I had heard about rural development, so let's look into rural development. So, had two pieces of the puzzle. We go to NCALL and get set up in their system. And what I really like about NCALL is that they make sure that you have all your ducks in a row. They tell you what ducks to put in a row. They show you how to do it. And the rest is up to you. And once you meet all their criteria, they forward your application to USDA. And from there you get a wonderful representative like Mr. Stacy Slaken.
No. S-L-A-C-U-N?
Yeah, did you hear that?
Slaken,
I did hear that.
Stacy,
Yes.
how long
My wife said
have we been dealing with?
Years.
Years,
Wow.
4 or 5 years.
What took 4 or 5 years? I'm sorry.
That was the time frame that it took for the process. And
Oh, wow.
we were with Stacy for a long time, and I give Stacy kudos because Stacy always responded. I know he's a busy man, but he always kept us in the loop. And if we needed something, I could just email Stacy, and I know sooner or later I'm getting a response back. And when things got really tight, he was on the phone with me. So those things are appreciated, especially when you're a newcomer to home ownership or the entire process. Yeah, it was good guidance. The only hiccup, because you guys want to know about the entire experience, was there was a mix-up. We had gone to purchase the property, but it didn't work out. But the application got processed as if it did. And for about a year, it took us about a year to get that cleared up.
Okay.
And within that year, we were stuck, unable.
Okay.
But things all happen for a reason. So, like I say, we never gave up on the process. We never heard no. And I was like, we're not gonna stop until we hear no. And things worked out. Things worked out
Now,
great.
how long ago was it when you said it was a done deal? It was clearly happening. You signed, sealed, and delivered. This was your house. How long ago? Was it a year ago?
March
2 years ago?
4th.
March 4th.
March.
This March?
This
Yes.
month. When was Earth Day?
April 26th.
April. So shortly after you were at Del Tech for Earth Day, this happened.
Things happen in twos. Birthday, homeownership, that's just. Okay. Ladies, Savannah, do y'all have your, you don't have your own bedrooms, do you?
No, we sleep in a room together.
Yeah, that's where our son's always.
Nice choice.
My sister and I slept has the same bedroom too, we were little kids. You're big kids. We were little kids. What do you like about having your own house? What's it
A
like?
big garden.
Really? You have a garden? What do you raise and grow in your garden?
Eggplant, cucumber, squash, zucchinis, and a lot of tomatoes.
A lot of tomatoes. Who eats all that food?
Mommy and us.
All right, Vivian, what's your favorite vegetable?
Broccoli.
Oh, good for you. Good for you. You and George W. Bush. That's great. What do you think, man?
Sorry about my voice.
That's
One of the
okay.
things that I appreciated, as my husband said, was being able to have one person through the entire process. It just,
Stacy?
yes, just made it easy to know that we were gonna be dealing with him. The things I think that could be improved upon is, I guess, interagency communication. As my husband said, there was a hiccup.
Yeah.
And so one part of the people knew that it was a hiccup, but it wasn't relayed in a timely manner to get it resolved. And so that was a little frustrating, but everything happens for a reason.
In the Bible
This
says,
house.
in all things give thanks.
Yes, and it's been great. The girls have a backyard to be in now. It can be as loud as they want outside. And it's just nice to know that we're here and it's ours.
That's great. It's a great feeling, isn't it?
Great. It has its challenges, but all things do.
Do you have a 20-year mortgage, 25? What do you have?
30.
30. I tell you, one of the happiest days of our lives, with my wife and I, is when we paid off our home mortgage and paid off all of our son's college debt. Like literally within a week, we felt like we got back a year's pay raise.
Understood.
This really is a great program, and this is Janet Birmingham, our housing director, and Stacy Slacum. And maybe one thing you can do is help us out, is Stacy's talking about retiring, but maybe could you require him to stay on?
Stacy? This is yours.
Now I can retire.
Oh my.
But there's always a need for staffing at USDA, you know that, really at rural development.
Yeah.
And I think is there an allocation for more staffing this year?
Well, it's improved. It has improved some, and that is an issue. But the advantage, as you know, is with our offices, we have people who can answer the phone and answer emails, and it doesn't go to a central location and Timbuktu, never be handled. And
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
work very well with NeighborGood Partners and NCALL, and
Yeah.
really, our numbers in Delaware.
We were almost at 400%. We used almost 400, or 4 times more than we were allotted.
So we're using money from other states in Delaware.
Why aren't they using
Good
I don't
question.
know.
Good question.
Yeah.
They don't have a
We're
packager lit.
Yeah.
They don't have an organization.
This is, the packagers really help us out a lot.
Yeah, we
We
do.
don't do as well in Maryland because we don't have strong packagers there. And we're working on that, but.
it? And when you say a packager, I think I know what you mean, but what?
Like a loan officer essentially, putting the application together and then they review it. Reviews it and Stacy, and so then it gets, whether it's approved or not, and then gets funding allocated to it. But unfortunately, we have like a waiting list now.
Small waiting list right now. Yes.
Six to what?
2 to 3.
Yeah, 2 to 3
3
months.
months.
But what I think-
It's improved
Is that a great
considerably.
picture?
Yeah,
Well,
we have.
Absolutely, and we appreciate that, honestly, that all the work.
That's
Yeah,
great.
so I know that we helped package and helped 43 families buy a house last year through rural development 502 program. And this year,
Is
we're
that up?
up to
Is that up?
36.
Is that an increase?
Yes, and I think there's more of an interest because of its really beneficial interest rates that it provides. You know, it allows for lower and moderate income families to buy a house.
Give us some idea how much that might be, what the interest rates might be, and what the savings might be.
Oh, interest rates now are
4.125.
through you all.
But
Yeah.
Interest rate now are about 7.5, 7 3/4.
Yeah, the market is
7.5, 7 3/4 right now.
in the market.
Yeah,
So if we go conventional,
but,
it's
but for folks who use this program, the rate is.
4.125 right now.
Down-
It's going
down
up
That's the
from.
full note rate.
Yours is probably lower.
Yeah, it can go down to 1%.
Yeah, it's going up with interest rates, but there's a deferral option, so there's possibility of going down to 1%. And, you know, and basically the interest kind of accumulates added to the principal. So they ended up
The calculation, at the end
taking
when they
it back.
sell it, yeah.
Government gets it back sometime.
What a
So-
bargain.
What we're gonna need for next year is the same amount of funding that we got this year. And they're also talking about raising us to a 2% interest rate as the subsidy, not a 1%, which will hurt our people in the very low income category. So we're looking that's what we're looking for next year from you guys.
Yeah.
Would you just make sure that our DC staff knows that?
I sent a letter to, I even have it with me, that I sent to the staff.
Okay,
So, yeah, it's down from 1.1 or 2 billion to an allocation of like half of that for the next year. So we'll have serving less families, and then if they put the 2% in instead of 1%, we won't be able to serve as many low-income
Yeah, I
families.
got it.
And that's the only way low-income families can become homeowners right now, honestly. I mean, we're lucky in Dover to be able to provide a program with Habitat and ourselves, you know, with either conventional financing or through Habitat. But those are the only ways that people under 50% of median income can afford a house.
Yeah, it's a great program.
It's a great program.
There's a guaranteed loan program, but it's suffering this year.
Which is also good, but it's
good,
suffering,
but
yeah.
Because interest rates are so
Right.
high and they work through the local bank, and banks, you know, are gonna charge a more market type rate. And we guarantee the loans, but that's for individuals whose income's a little higher. And, but it's not doing that well this year. It has in the past, but because, not that much demand for it because the rates are so high. But our program here, 502 program is doing very well. And the wait list time has really dropped. It was considerably higher,
Right.
and we've made a lot of, our staff has made a lot of extra efforts this year to improve on that.
What have you done in order to improve on that?
We were allotted, some of the guaranteed folks in national office volunteered to help us process some of our backlog.
So it's called a surge team, and if they could get volunteers, they would come help, and we had a young lady who volunteered for Delaware to help us. So that helped us get the applications through, get the certificate of eligibility out, then it came back to the rest of our staff to go ahead and get everything from there on up to closing. So
What was
that really
lady's name?
helped
What
us.
was her name?
Her name was Amber Sager.
Mm.
She wasn't from the state, but she was very kind to, and she helped us the year before as well.
Awesome.
And that's the only way we get them is if they volunteer.
Mm.
if they don't volunteer, they don't have to come with us.
You think she'll wanna come back someday?
I think so, but right now she's helping with other states. So, but yes, I think she'll probably volunteer again if it's offered.
That'd be great.
And then we used overtime too.
We did
for our
use
staff,
overtime, yeah.
But we
Yes.
authorized, our national office authorized some overtime for us, and they've been very supportive of us.
They have.
And other states, actually, the Massachusetts State Director talked to me about how he can improve, and wanted to know what we were doing.
I
You got
requested-
what you all were doing to
I
see.
requested overtime again this morning from the national office, so, and put in what I felt we could get done with that overtime amount, so hopefully we'll get granted that in September.
Good. Ladies, you know, what does the president do? You know, any idea what is the president's job?
He doesn't make the laws, but he approves them.
There you go, that's very good, very good. And,
It's impressive.
his job, part of his job is to say, I wanna hear you say execute, I wanna hear you say execute.
Execute.
Yeah.
Execute.
Execute means to make sure somebody does something, like executes, actually carry something out. His job is to execute the laws. My job is to help write them, okay? And then he can sign the bill, sign the law into law, and then somebody has to execute, make sure it happens. And that's the job of him and his team. When I was, we have in Delaware, we have a position called governor. I don't know if you've ever heard of governor,
Yes.
but it's like, sort of like being president, not of the country,
Another state.
but of the state. Did you, what grade you gonna be in, fifth?
Sixth.
Sixth. When you were in fourth grade, did you study the Constitution of the United States? I bet you did.
Yes.
I bet you did. Well, when I was fortunate enough to serve as governor of the state, and one of my goals as governor of the state was to make families strong and healthy. And one of the things I wanted to make sure happens, that families had a house to live in, and one that they could own someday. And Delaware, when I stepped down as governor, we had, I think, the highest home ownership rate in the country.
74% or something.
Yeah, it was about 75%, which was, and we had more jobs were created in those 8 years than any period in Delaware history. We were just really blessed. I was governor at the right time. Well, I hope, but anyway, we wanted to make sure that people could buy a house and live in that house. And I'm thrilled when I can see what's happened, and this has happened for your family. This is great.
Well, we all wanna say thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It is really.
Happy to do it. Happy to do it. All right. Well, let's, tell them what your job is.
Rachel Splorman, Senator Strider, and aide. So when the Senate isn't in session, he likes to cover the state, and so we are just driving around all 3 counties for these couple weeks, going to meetings, events, things like this, and so we have a great time.
This is a chance for us to see how the laws that we pass and the president is executing, what the good that comes from that. This is very exciting. A lot of joy, All right, ladies, take good care of your parents.
Okay.
I got a feeling that someday she will.
Maybe all of them.
Yeah.